Gates says, how many minutes do I have to speak daily to talk like a native English speaker? So this is a good question. There was the book from Malcolm Gladwell called, I believe that one was Outliers, where he talks about what it takes. Was it Outliers? One of his books might have been Outliers. He talks about generally to master anything, you need to put in 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours working on something will get you to mastery. Okay, great. That means if I calculate, if I do 10,000 hours divided by, and then I get a daily practice amount, I'll get there. I would say potentially maybe. But with language, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because if you do 10,000 hours of, for example, 10,000 hours of doing presentations where you're talking in front of people and they're responding and you can see their live feedback, that's a lot of practice, right? Giving presentations and speaking, and there's real-time feedback, and maybe you record yourself so you're able to watch that back. You're going to get very good, very comfortable with that sort of speaking, right? Okay, well, what about English? If you just sit down in your house and you just talk and talk and talk 6 hours a day, are you going to just automatically get better once those 6 hours a day add up to 10,000 hours? Not necessarily. Now, why not? A couple things. Number one, language gets harder to learn and master as you get older. And there are a couple of different reasons. It's been studied pretty extensively. But babies are masters of learning language, and they pick up the sounds of the language very, very well. From up until the age of 2, you pick up the phonemes of the language, the sounds, and you become native in that language by picking up the correct sounds. Then there's another cutoff, I think it's age 6 or 7, where once you reach that point, if you start after that age, around 6 or 7, it's a little harder to get to the native level, right? And that has something to do with potentially brain elasticity, how flexible your brain is at that age, but also has something to do with the fact that you're maybe starting school at that age and you're getting busier learning other things. Think about what a child between the age of 0 and 2 has to do. Sit around and make noises and eat and poop, and that's about it, and sleep, right? So they have nothing else going on. So they can essentially, they're dedicating all of their time to picking up the language, and the stakes are high. A baby must learn the language natively in order to use it to get things done and develop into a person who can do things in the world, right? So it's a necessity. They have nothing else going on, so they have a lot of time. The brains are very malleable at that age, and so they're kind of geniuses for a lot of different reasons at picking up languages. It gets harder as you get older. By the time you reach the age of 20, 30, there's so many things going on in your life. The necessity is not as intense as when you're a kid because you can get along in your native language. You can speak English already, kind of, sort of, not bad. So it's good enough. You can get along, you can survive and function. So there's not as much pressure. And you have much more stuff going on. And it seems like, and I've seen a lot of different research on it, it seems like your brain is a little bit more locked in a sense, not able to pick up especially new sounds. There are some sounds that you kind of have to learn as a kid or as a baby. So that's one thing. The other component is feedback in real time. This is a big one. If you are a weightlifter and you lift weights by yourself and you do it wrong by yourself all the time and you can't believe you're not building muscles, you have no idea why. except after 6 months, you realize I haven't built any muscles. What's going on? And then you start paying attention to how you're doing it and watching some videos, and you give yourself some feedback. Well, if you're just sitting there in your house talking and talking and talking, potentially what you're doing is accomplishing very little because you're not getting feedback from your output. You're speaking and communicating, but nothing is coming back to tell you what you're doing wrong, what to fix, so that you can build better habits. So potentially the problem is that you're building bad habits. You're speaking inaccurately, incorrectly, making a lot of mistakes, and practicing those mistakes 6 hours a day, getting essentially worse because the habits are getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So you have to have a way to get feedback. Now, I advocate developing extreme self-awareness, that you're able to notice what other people are doing, what native English speakers are doing, and be brutally honest with yourself and notice what you're doing that you can fix. That's like having an invisible coach that you build inside your head. If you're radically honest with yourself, brutally honest, and you have that self-awareness to see the difference between what you do and what they're doing. So, and that's just a few things. It's not as simple as 10,000 hours. That's just a number that's out there. Could be more, could be less. Different people are different. I've seen some people improve their English very quickly because they have a natural instinct for it, no fear, the right kind of personality. I've seen some people work at it for 5 years and never improve. Personality type, bad habits, not very open to changing the way that they think, and they just keep working and never get better. So it's not about how many hours, it's the quality of those hours. And the kind of dark secret is not a secret, but your personality too. Personality matters a lot. Some people, I could just walk up to them, talk to them for 5 minutes and say, you'll never make it. I don't do that because I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. But there are times when I can tell within 5 minutes you're never going to improve. I can just tell. I just know. I have enough experience. I just know. I never say that though because I don't want to crush dreams. But then there are some people where I can see the potential, how quickly they change, and it's a lot of mindset stuff. So I know this has been a long answer to the question, but it's an interesting topic, and I think the first place to start would be focusing on the quality of the learning, the quality of the practice, making sure those components are built in, then start thinking about how many hours you're going to spend doing it.